Alright, so the problem I was running into was my sample rate resetting itself, and I got that figured out. As you can see, I like to run my sample rate at 9600, and that just makes for everything to be more smooth and listenable to after long periods of time. However, it was not so great for screen capture, and so it would always reset to 44.1, which is the CD quality, which is kind of low. And so sometimes it would do weird things to the pitch, like on this song, and it was just kind of all around, or partially around, not working. So I'm doing an experiment today. I'm using my original microphone that I started recording with back in, maybe 6-7 years ago, maybe longer than that, to allow me to use the Focusrite Scarlett at 96K and still be able to do these videos. Okay, so where we left off, I think I was talking about doing some compression on this, and this is probably going to be where we'll pick up. And okay, yes, we left off right here. So I'm going to just go ahead and play a little bit of it. Now, there doesn't seem to be too much distortion at this point, so notice how the notes kind of stagger there, one going a little in front of the other. I think I'll just leave it like that. So actually I did do this once before and the video completely failed. It didn't record any audio, so I'm having to do it again. But I did go through this process and I realized that I didn't need a compressor on here after all, because this EQ job was doing the trick. And so I just went on, and this song, kind of like Remember, there's not too much more that can be done to it that isn't just sort of nitpicky and trying to do, endless tweaks. And so I decided to go ahead and do a mix down. So I already mixed this down and really would have liked to have shown that process, but I didn't have it at the time. So, well, actually, the video didn't record any audio, so you could see me doing it, but not here. So let's see, is there anything else I did? Okay, and I have the master track up here. I'm trying to remember if I did a number. I may have done a second one. Hang on. January song. Nope, there's only one other one of them. Okay. So typically what I've started doing with my bass tracks is trimming off some of the low end rumble. It's not something you can particularly hear, but well, in this case, let's solo this. And we may have done this already. But you can see how loud it is up there, and that sort of tames it down if I were to take it off. Yeah, it's something you would hear more with a subwoofer than if you're listening with headphones, as you might be, and as I am right now. So that just takes a little bit of the rumble off, keeps it clear, and so that. Another thing I sometimes do is trim off on the master output. I will trim the the frequencies down below 20 hertz or so, which is something I actually learned from a tutorial or demonstration of mixing it with electronic music. They were trimming, well, they're actually cutting below 20 hertz, which doesn't matter as much on small speaker systems, they were saying, but when you get to the really big ones that they push really hard, it starts to matter a little bit. So anyway, that was about it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go through the render. So we have number 3. Let's see what we have in there. Okay, so we have, this is the one that I did, so I would go ahead and save it, and then I'd click render one file, and we'll probably go through that with the next piece that I choose, because this one is done, and I will try to have this available. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is take these songs that I'm working on in musical layers and put them together in a collection as another album. I don't know what I'll call it yet. It'll either be a collection of these songs or I will have these songs in a collection of others. We'll see. But that is basically it for January songs. So we'll have to come up with another one. But I have these songs laying around and different ones that I'm working on. Oh, one other thing. Sometimes, as I've done with some of my other songs, like in the Mondays videos, I sometimes convert the MIDI to audio, and I do that by, let's say, I'll solo the piano track, and then I'll come out here and I'll say, we'll say January piano. I'll go ahead and just render that file, and then I'll bring it back into Reaper and use it just as an audio file. And what that does is it takes a little bit of the load off the processor. So if you have a lower powered machine, this is something that would be very helpful, to take some of the stress off the processor from using plugins, because plugins, the way they work is they're actually just reading the MIDI data that you see in there, and it's run through an instrument, and that instrument plays. So it's like having a pianist play the notes every time, whereas when you import the audio, like I'm about to do here, it's kind of like getting a recording of that pianist. And let's see, let's open it. It's kind of like getting a recording of that pianist, and rather than having them sit down and play it every time. So it really doesn't make a huge difference, but I mean, unless you're trying to save processing power. One difference in Reaper, though, is if you say you stop, it doesn't continue like this one would. See, because it's like an actual pianist. So but more than that, it's the sustain markers. If it doesn't hit the next one for the sustain pedal, it will continue to sustain. So that's just a trick I like to use. Also, when you do this, it's much better for stuff like fade outs. See there? Or if you wanted to, say, fade in, which you can do on the MIDI clips, but it doesn't work quite as well. Okay, I think that's about it. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.